This is the Adam Carolla Show. Adam's guest today, from Food Network's The Great Food Truck Race, the operator of Ragin Cajun, Domingue, and porn legend Peter North. Plus, Teresa Strasser with the news. And now, don't step on his blue suede shoes, Adam Carolla.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get on. No choice but to get on, mandate. Get it on. I was just thinking of the disaster Peter North topping off on Cajun food and then unloading on you. The decorator filled with Cajun spices. Oh, that's pink eye.
This is a strange combination of guests today. I'm trying to wrap my head around it.
I just want to keep North's cock away from my jambalaya.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, because it
Andouille sausage.
Yeah, that was my gay porn name.
Now, are you very familiar with Peter North's work?
Dewey Sausage is working with Rocky Stucco again. Oh man, that's two temperamental divas. Best in the game, though. Yes, I'm quite familiar with Peter North's work. They call him the decorator, and he produces a...
like Nate Berkus, or... I don't understand. I've never seen...
I don't know. I've never seen the dude fuck. I've only seen him redo apartments for fat chicks. Anyway, dude. Yeah, he's probably done like 1,800 porn films. Every guy, I don't know where it is. It's probably Ron Jeremy, Peter North, and the just sort of porn to any guy between the age of 30 and 50, yeah? So we'll talk to him. We'll eat some Cajun food. T's got the news. Mike sitting in for Bald Bryan.
Wake up, donkeys. The internet is where it's at, and I'm going to be an internet sensation.
And before we get started, tip of the cap to one of our new sponsors, English Laundry Clothing Company. You've seen me in my snappy shirts I wore in here a couple days back. Scott Weiland's got a collection, does the electric combinations, got the fabrics and the patterns and the whole rock and roll thing going. Their stuff's really nice. They gave me like 8 shirts, and they all hang well, fit well, tight cut. Sort of a throwback. The guy, it's kind of a mod UK look. Christopher Wicks, who's the owner-designer, grew up in the UK. It's kind of mod rock meets soccer hooligan look, but really cool stuff. I don't like much of that stuff, and this stuff's really cool. And if you want to check it out, you can. Where the hell do you go to check it out? You can go to
AdamCarolla.com.
I guess you could, yeah. That's right. You get 20% off. And they got stuff for women, they got stuff for kids, and again, you can get 20% off the entire thing just by typing my name into the enter code at checkout at the checkout basket. But, T, am I going nuts? How come I'm not seeing their website on there? You got a piece of paper that I'm not
sure we
at?
linked to it on our site, but I'm also not seeing it either. But I'm telling you, I am seeing... You've never looked better than, say, the last few days in a row. Sure. Are you wearing their T-shirts?
I'm wearing their underpants right now.
Really?
Yes.
I don't know if it's the blue suede shoe. EnglishLaundry.com. There you go.
That's not on there?
No. I mean, I could have guessed it, I guess.
I guess you could do the EnglishLaundry.com.
Surmise it.
Sure.
EnglishLaundry.com.
All right.
Woven shirts.
All right, where the hell
was that plaid
we?
you had on the other day, one of theirs?
Yes.
Loved it.
Yeah, really cool stuff. Like I said, from the best times, sort of English, mod, 60s, early 70s stuff. All right, T, since we got a bunch of guests, we got a bunch of stuff going on, why don't we start right up with the news straight away?
From the International News Center, next to Donnie's Mini Bikes, this is the news with Teresa Strasser.
A stabbing victim in Michigan spoke out, saying he believes he is the 17th victim of a serial knifer who's been terrorizing the city of Flint for months. Like it's not bad enough living in Flint.
Yeah.
Police say the suspect is responsible for at least 16 stabbings, 5 of them fatal, and may be linked to other knifings in Virginia and Ohio. Cops have not yet determined if the latest victim, a 47-year-old male who was attacked Saturday, was linked to the other attacks which began May 24th. However, the 47-year-old said his attacker resembled the police sketch of the killer released Friday. He was stabbed in the face, the back of the head, the side, and the stomach. He's still hospitalized in critical condition.
There's certain crimes I understand and then certain crimes I don't understand and then certain crimes where I need you sort of put down like an animal.
Right.
If you can pick up anything, a spork and repeatedly try to jam it into someone's orbital socket or lips or just face or any part, there's something wrong with you, right? Like horribly wrong. Like I understand the defending yourself when you get in a fight or warding off a cougar or bobcat or mountain lion.
You don't mean it to me more.
Right.
You mean.
Right. But if you could just pick a knife up and randomly stab people, and you know when they have these like fights or these altercations or whatever these crimes, and it's like the person saying, and as I was running away, they were running behind me, stabbing me in the back, and you're like, where do you get the fucking motivation? You know, you're like, don't you want that person fucking killed? Like, I understand the guy, like, listen, some nervous inner city teen, he's going to rob a liquor store, the gun goes off.
Freaks out,
you know, whatever. But, like, chasing a jogger and trying to stab them while they're running away, like, that kind of thing?
Well, they say, like, forensic scientists say that a crime where you have to get close up, like a stabbing or a choking, it's usually somebody you know because there's rage involved.
Sure.
In this case, it sounds like some guy's just stabbing strangers. Would you almost prefer that he at least had some kind of motive?
Always. I prefer family members.
Right? I mean, at least
Absolutely.
you kind of get it. Like, yes, Spreewell shouldn't have choked his coach, but we've all kind of
felt like,
had a moment.
Yes. Stab your family members, please.
But, oh, God. One in particular.
Step monster?
No. Thank God she's already dead.
Yeah.
But if I may, for 30 seconds.
Sure.
My, the mortgage crisis has hit close to home, Adam. As Pops is having a little trouble.
His house got another flat.
he was rotating the tires on his house.
Oh, man.
Adam.
Bad wheel bearings on his living room?
Oh, he wishes he could change the battery on his house.
Wow.
There seems to be a little bit of a problem with the paying of the mortgage, which I just became aware of. Seems to be about 6 months behind. And guess who co-signed?
Oh, man.
Bad news.
Yeah.
It's terrifying.
Oh, man. Guy with the flatbed's going to come repossess your dad's house.
Well, the thing is, I would be okay with that, but they're going to come after me in my house.
Yeah.
And I know the bank really wants my Koreatown mansion.
What can your dad's mortgage be? I mean, it can't be
$1,300. But he has 2 tenants. And one of them
He has 2 tenants.
One of them is my now deceased stepmonster's schizophrenic son, who's 45 and has nowhere else to go.
He can't pay anything.
But he gets something from the state, so he does help out a few $100.
Oh, and the other guy's the stamper from Michigan.
The other tenant was a family of 3, a teenage mom and a baby and a dad who worked out in the fields. But they had to go. They found their own place, so.
Wow.
Times are tough. I guess.
So is he going to then rent out the back seat? I mean the back room of the home he's living in?
He's trying to see if a family of raccoons would like the trunk.
He comes in after a long day of work. Who left the dome light on? God damn it! I don't work for the power company.
Well, I mean. I didn't realize that you probably shouldn't co-sign the loan of a compulsive debtor.
I did that with Ozzy in his truck.
Oh, no. What happened?
The same thing. At least I had a good relationship with the dealership. But you start getting the phone calls and you start getting
It's exactly as though it's your loan.
Yeah, and they treat you the same, too. Like, hey, man, why haven't you paid your money? Like,
oh, my God.
It's horrible. And what goes on? I mean, I was lamenting this to my wife last night. Like, my family has no money. Her family has no money. Nobody's like, what? I will kill myself as an adult if I'm 72 years of age and can't fucking scrape together enough for a round trip flight from L.A. to Reno.
Wow.
You know what? I mean, literally, like, I don't know. I mean, my family has this thing where they just have to wait for people to die, and then they leave them.
And get their 12 grand.
They leave their shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
But what goes on?
Well, I think in my dad's case, he's a debtor. He's just like somebody might be an alcoholic. He just debts. He buys things he can't afford, and then he gets himself in trouble.
30 days.
I tried to tell him, get to Debtors Anonymous, 90 and 90. But I feel bad because, I feel horrible.
Wait a minute. But what does your dad buy? I mean, he doesn't do drugs.
He bought a a plot of land on which he built a home way up there in what you call fortified wine country. And, you know, you can literally fucking smell the meth in the air. There are that many meth labs. And it's very hard for a 67-year-old guy
that's a bad thing.
to find It's very hard for him to find a job having been a mechanic all his life. And
Why doesn't he make meth?
Ooh. I'm sure he'd
a little Breaking Bad situation.
Wait a second. That's not a bad idea. Him and my schizophrenic stepbrother could go into business together. Well, so he couldn't make the mortgage, and then I think he didn't want me to know. And I think it's pretty embarrassing because you don't want to ruin your daughter's credit.
Sure.
Already done.
Yeah. It's really weird. I had this weird conversation with Kevin Hench, my writing partner. Like, I walk around life thinking things are sort of an anomaly, and then I realize, oh no, this is life. What we're living is sort of an anomaly in terms of thinking straight, loving our kids, not being covered with tattoos, not being buried in debt, not having weird bad piercings and stuff like that. Like, I walk around all day sort of going, what the fuck's wrong with everyone, or what's wrong with this guy? And then I realize this guy is every guy now. I went to this great moment. I went to when I was in Tempe, and we're doing the improv last weekend, and Mike August, this is out of a movie. Whenever we go to town, Mike calls the local radio station, and he says, hey, how about Adam does a phone or two on your station? Mike, hang out in case I'm exaggerating any of this.
And also just so I could view the outfit.
So he gives him a call. So in this case, and usually everyone's up for it. We're going back to Seattle and Portland, and everyone there's cool and all that stuff. But in this case, our old radio station in Arizona didn't want anything to do with me because that's the past. And then the other radio station he reached out to didn't want anything to do with me because I'm the future. Podcasting, taken over.
Oh, yeah.
So why are you advertising what is going to be the future? So then he gets hooked up with a guy named Beef.
Okay.
And evidently this guy named Beef convinces Mike that he has a large morning audience.
Okay.
When in fact...
The improv sells
he has the improv does it. In fact, this guy has a very small podcast.
like
minuscule size.
But he's in the future because he's a podcaster.
And so we hook up with Beef, and I should know about 46 minutes into the interview I'm doing with him, which I think is on his morning show.
Yeah.
And I'm calling in, and he's like, yeah, fuck that, dude. Anyway, and he's like, I don't know, what else you want to talk about? And it's like, I'm looking at the clock, it's like 41 minutes in, and he said fuck 9 times, and I'm like, what kind of morning show is this? Don't you have to run commercials? So Beef's got nothing. But meanwhile, they have contracted Beef to, I keep calling him Meat by mistake, contracted Beef to bring me up on stage times 6 nights. And so we got to hear Beef do it. And literally, Mike, stop me if I'm wrong. How many of you guys are checking out my podcast every morning? There's 450 people in the place you're hearing. But there's nothing. But the beauty of the nothing is, on the 6th show, how many of you guys checking out my podcast every morning? I mean, it was like, it wouldn't stop. So there's a couple good moments with Beef. Beef is like the typical 30-year-old dude now who, I was just saying to someone, look, when I was growing up, when you're fucking 19, 20, 21, you'd carry around an attaché case with your lunch in it just to look like you were older, just to look important. It didn't have anything in it. You'd put on a fucking suit and tie just to look like you were somebody and you weren't somebody. Now you got all these 30-year-old guys with like these, not only the piercings, but the big hole that you could fuck in their ear.
I don't get that.
Like if you could lube that thing up, you could fuck their ear. And then they're covered with tattoos, and they got the weird turtle facial hair, and they're wearing the black Yankees cap, and it's pulled sideways, and they're wearing the weird T-shirts and shants, and you're like, dude, how are you going to get a job? You're a 30-year-old white guy. Like, what are you doing?
Beef, listen, take stock, okay? Take a moment.
Beef stock. The bouillon cube.
Beef stock. Just take a moment and drop yourself into the water of clarity.
And boil it and make a lovely broth.
Make a reality broth.
So he comes up, he plops down on the vinyl Naugahyde burnt orange sofa with the duct tape on it that they have, you know, in every green room of every comedy club. And he like, sits next to me and he's got to unload a little, you know. And Beef's like,
because you can relate to Beef's problem.
Dude, I've been going through a pretty tough time, you know. And well, first off, the real problem comes when Beef says to me somewhere around the fourth show, "Hey, dude, would you?" Can I do a few minutes? I got to do a few minutes before the show starts.
He wanted to open for you?
He has to do time. And I said, no time, buddy. You just do the announcement of Adam, pump him up, and that'll be fine.
Where's the beef?
And by the way,
laser pointer, and he jumps on Adam.
I gave the fucking, and I just gave him the same thing I give to everyone, like, you know, the guys who want to walk into the tiger cage with their pants around their ankles. Like, you can go in if you want, but that tiger's not friendly. Like, those people aren't there to see you. I know the difference. I know the difference between, don't get me wrong, if Sarah Silverman was doing something and I went up and went, hey, I want to do a half hour, they wouldn't want me either.
Oh, you hear stories about people who had to open for the Beatles and just get booed the entire time?
Yes.
It's brutal.
The Beefles.
Boo would have been great.
Boo would have been great. That would have been a reaction.
He got nothing.
So he came out there and he said, my dad's in the audience. He's dying of cancer. Funny.
He said that, yes.
No, he told me that. Yeah, he told me that. And he's like, I want to get out there
and show my dad that I've made something of myself.
Yeah, so he went out, and it wasn't one of these things where he had a couple of jokes and could kind of cut bait and move on.
Yeah.
He had a story that he went into, and the problem with the story was it was like merging onto a highway, and then you wouldn't see another exit for like 20 miles.
Or the kind where you get on a bridge to somewhere.
Yeah, and the train's coming, and you can't get off, and you have to jump off that trestle. So I'm just standing out next to the kitchen. I'm not in the club, you know. I'm just hearing nothing for long periods of time. I'm not sure what there's technical issues or whatever. But one of the great conversations I had with Beef is during one of the breaks when he was apologizing to me up in the green room, and I was just like, I need to mention his dad's dying, and the club owner yelled at him. And he's saying he's going through a hard time. His old lady found out he has a sugar mama. He found out his sugar mama was cheating on him just before he was going on a fishing trip with his dad, sort of a last fishing trip. And he found out literally moments before, but she was driving him to the airport. He couldn't get into it with her, and blah, blah, blah. And I said, how does this sugar mama thing work?
Yeah.
Because I want to know how this works. Because then he goes on to mention she's living with me, and she's out of work, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, what the fuck kind of sugar mama is this? And I said, how does the sugar mama work? Or what does she do for you? And he's wearing, Mike, stop me if I'm lying. He's wearing a XXXX that his ex got him L size black T-shirt with like something a Mexican would have airbrushed on the hood of his Impala. Yeah. Like just a hot chick with a devil ass, you know, like just big ass, like something almost like if you went to school. If you went to school and wore that, they'd make you turn it inside out. Kind of like a little bit offensive, like hot Latin chick with Vita Guerra's ass. Like a black shirt size of a tent with an airbrushed Mexican chick on it. And
somewhere on one or both of his arms is a tattoo, and it's on fire.
Yeah, he had a couple. He had some tats.
There's skulls.
But I said to him, how does the sugar mama thing work?
Right,
I mean, what do you get out of this deal? How does it work? And he just looked at me and he went, see this T-shirt? I said, yeah. She got it for me. And I said, you get a fucking T-shirt? And he went, and the shorts too. And he's wearing a pair of fucking, and one fucking baggy fucking shorts, like $8 shorts. And then I was like, oh my, what's going on? And then later on he brought in his buddy Laugh Track. And he's covered with tattoos. And I'm like, hey, Laugh Track, what's your deal now? And he goes, I used to work for a place that made custom sand rails, dune buggies, but that went under, so now I work at a tattoo parlor. And I thought, wow, and I felt bad, like, wow, it's so sad. It's weird because these aren't kids and they're not in college. These are guys when they were our parents' age, would have had 2 kids and dressed like Fred McMurray from My 3 Sons. And now I'm looking at 2 dudes combined age of like 66, and they're like covered with tats. They look unemployable, and their hats are like sideways.
Combined FICO score of 27.
Yeah,
which is now mine. By the way.
right. It's like if somebody attacked Turtle with a tattooing pen. That's what these guys look like. And I'm like, and they're nice enough guys and stuff, but it's like, who's gonna hire you, and what's the deal, and where's the health insurance coming? Like, what's the plan? And then Mike and I went to the mall on our old person gay date.
I see you also got some new shoes.
Yeah, he said those.
They're actually pretty cool.
Yeah. And you just walk through the mall just seeing the same 31-year-old white dude, like covered with tattoos, like wearing an MMA shirt. And you're just thinking, like, what's the plan? What's the plan?
Yes.
Like, what's the end game with the big hoop piercings and the tats? Like, is this
Where do you want to be in 20 years?
Are you getting sexier to the ladies?
Right.
Are the dollars falling out of the heavens? Like, you're not a bad.
Are people scrambling to hire you for what very few jobs there are?
I'm not sure if he's going to be welcome back at the Improv in Tempe.
Really?
Well,
you think
Mike, the club owner, was not.
Done?
I don't.
The club owner was not happy.
Beef is not well done.
We will move on.
Nice guy. Glad.
Really trying.
Really trying, but feel bad for his dad and everything.
Well,
but,
listen.
Beef is good times.
By the way, the good news for my wife is I've canceled my sugar mama plan. I thought it involved like a Corvette and a condo. I didn't know this is beef. Oh, by the way, that's him.
God.
That's him wearing his.
That's the dice.
No,
yes.
no, he's wearing dice. That's another night.
Oh my God. Oh.
Yeah, no, he's not wearing the right shirt there. He's wearing an obnoxious, loud circus tent size shirt.
It makes you
and
Donnie look like you're from the 50s. when normally you might be on the schlubby side of things.
Yes, thank you.
But here,
I know, it makes us look like we're dapper guys.
It looks like somebody actually tagged his shirt. Like he was just walking through Tempe and somebody spray painted his shirt.
Yeah. Well, you know, recently when the Prop 8 thing went down, everyone was talking about the will of the people, and I think, you know what? No thanks. Because otherwise it'd be like, you know, Mountain Dew in the drinking water.
Yes.
Like Idiocracy.
Yeah, there's his other buddy. Now, that's not Laugh Track. That's another
Buddha.
guy. That's
Buddha?
Buddha. That's Buddha. He's like flashing flashing a gang sign.
Is that a hospital tag?
But can
I don't know. It's hanging off.
when you
What's all the
Just got out
weird
of
jewelry?
rehab.
He's wearing sunglasses. What's going on?
Well, that's kind of a lowrider-y look.
What's with the look? Once you turn 33, what's the look?
Well, I'd like to look like I can afford the payments on my car and my home.
That's the
That's
look.
That's how
Same
I'd like to look.
That's the look. We should all try to
I'd
cultivate
like to
that
look like, I know I have a lot of registered sex offenders within a mile of me, and that's
Right.
been a running joke, because I like to live within my means.
Right.
I'm terrified of debt because of how I grew up.
Yeah.
Don't
well.
care
Let's
for it.
feed you then because your
All right.
food's getting
Oh,
food's
yeah. Can I get, I'm so sorry, I went all about me. Can I get to one other happy story
One other
quickly?
story about someone getting stabbed in the face, and then we got to eat cake.
It'll be very quick. The good news is Pops can always file for Chapter 13 again. Yeah, that's right.
Does that make it Chapter 26? I would shame the people. What are you on? Chapter 39? Like, I would shame them by adding all their Chapter 11s and 13s together until they did a big rolling score of like
look,
1562.
To separate him from the beefs of the world, he did work 6 days a week and was a very hardworking guy. He just squandered everything. Now, on happy news, Alanis Morissette's expecting. Yeah, she told Us Weekly that she and her husband, Solai, will be having a baby.
Soul-I or
Soul-I.
Solai? Like, is he a Russian guy or is he a hippie?
Hippie.
Whoa.
Some kind of music dude. In the magazine's 25 Things You Don't Know About Me section, Alanis listed I am pregnant as number 25. She added on her Twitter page, we're very excited to embark on this journey with each other. He's a rapper.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
Right.
they got
Oh,
married
he's the
in
white rapper.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I ought to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Aw.
Yeah.
Do you think he's upset about Dave Coulier?
I don't. I'm sure the Band-Aid gets ripped off that wound every time it pops on the. I'm guessing she pretty much has the SUV radio just permanently set to AM.
Just in case?
Yeah, like no one wants to hop in the car and throw the keys in, start off, and hear yelling about your wife going down on a guy in a theater.
You feel like every time they go to the movies, you know, there's an expectation.
If I was working the concession stand, I would have a certain expectation if I saw Alanis Morissette at a movie theater.
Really? You want your milk duds? I'd like something.
Yeah, like
I'd
something
immediately
too.
build a home theater.
Yeah.
Well, I will leave it there. Sorry I made the news all about
More
this.
of Teresa's news coming up. If you don't listen, you're an anti-Semite.
All right, Stephen Domingue, I think.
We think it's Domingue.
Yes, we think it's Domingue. But Mike's been...
He's known as the Ragin Cajun.
Yeah, there he is. He's brought
Hi,
some
guys.
food.
Hi,
Hey,
how
come on
are
in.
you?
Nice to meet you guys. Well,
Nice
I brought
to
you a
meet
little
you.
taste.
Oh, thank you very
That's what
much.
we call some chicken and sausage corn bisque.
Have
We
a
got Jasmine
seat.
bringing some stuff on me
Thank
too.
you. Is your mic screwy or something? Oh,
Maybe your
what
tie.
do you do? Just drink it?
Yeah, I think everyone stole the spoons. Oh, she's got an extra.
Oh, you know what?
Okay.
You want to hand this to that gentleman?
I would love to.
He will be a better judge of its taste than
Thanks.
I.
Wait, time out. I want you to go get him a taste of my chicken and sausage corn bisque.
Okay. He's got it right.
What is this?
And the beef brisket.
Now you've got to show on
Why-
the Food Network.
Hold on a second. Why didn't you guys line up all that shit before?
Thought it was.
Oh, Mike, wake up, buddy. I know I pulled him in here. Sorry, Food Network.
He's got to show on the Food Network that I think pits food trucks against each other, which is an interesting idea with how popular they are right now.
I tell y'all, I actually went on this audition for this food truck, and I never had one in my life.
Really?
And I got on the show. And I got this truck done in a day and a half. And let me tell y'all, this was an experience I'll never forget. Myself and 6 other trucks went across the country selling our food. It was an elimination process. If you didn't make sales, you were gone. Is it my tie?
We gotta get you.
Well, your tie is made out of beads, so if it hits the, so you were like,
What is this one?
that one is.
We got another microphone? Oh, they gave you 2 microphones?
They gave you
Oh.
2.
Well, you should maybe uncross your legs and we'll pull
There
this
you
one
go.
off you.
Listen, we're ironing out some kinks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm sitting back enjoying this. Brisket.
Thank you. I'm gonna
Try
this
that beef brisket, Adam.
Okay. Now, where are you from, Stephen?
I am from Lafayette, Louisiana. I'm a Cajun boy.
Mm-hmm. Whoa, nice job.
Are you enjoying the food? I don't want to ask you while you're chewing,
It's
but
excellent. It's excellent.
I just
Mike,
ask you because I don't
Yeah.
eat meat.
That
Good?
corn chowder sounds
Yeah,
delightful.
it's got a bite to it. It's nice.
Here, try this. Try this jambalaya. I sense meat.
Oh yeah, no meat, huh?
It's all my mama's recipes from Lafayette, Louisiana. What I did, I opened up my restaurant here in Hermosa Beach 18 years ago, guys. I came here with nothing. And I was talking to my mom on the phone how to make the food. I'm an amateur chef. And I just took my mama's creations with recipes from her great-great-grandmas. And I just put it all together in Ragin Cajun now, 18 years in the running in Hermosa Beach.
Now, does your mom have all these things written down, or is it all just sort of by feel and by memory?
Oh no, she has everything. She has like I want to say a Bible back at home that she pulls out from
Really?
way back then there, Adam.
And so, as far as the lunch truck show went, I'm sorry.
Food truck.
Food truck. Yeah, maybe, I wonder if lunch truck's an insulting, or is that like calling a flight attendant a stewardess? I'm trying to figure out how that goes.
I think some of these food trucks are quite gourmet.
Oh God.
Yeah, so you're going up against, who's the competition? I mean, in terms of the types of food, you got a Korean barbecue truck, you got a Mexican food truck.
I had a crepe guy. We had a cheese guy. The what is it called? The grilled cheese guy.
Oh, that's a big thing. These grilled
Oh
cheese
yeah,
trucks.
the grilled cheese.
Did you beat that guy? Can you tell us?
I can't say. You have to watch the show to find out, guys.
But the day the Cajun truck can't kick the ass of the crepes truck.
Oh, can you imagine getting beaten by the crepes truck? How much of a pussy would you feel like?
You take your shrimp and your Cajun food and you hit the road. I will smother you in my flat, thin pancake. Where's my cigarette?
Oh.
Wow. So what's the plan? You guys hit the road, and how's the competition work?
Well, you know what we did was we started off in one city and we made our way around the country, but it was an elimination process. So if you didn't make sales, you were eliminated in that city.
So it was really just, in a way, it's a little like the Celebrity Millionaire or something.
Apprentice,
like,
yeah.
The Apprentice, sorry.
Right.
Where you just go in there and you pull up and you see who has the biggest tally, and it's not only about the food, but you got to send someone out doing some advertising, running around.
You have to know the right corner to park.
Yes, ma'am.
And there's a little competition for that?
Yes,
as well?
there is. Yes, there is. And there was challenges there. And
I feel like you did well in the Great Food Truck Race, so they wouldn't be trotting you out to do the publicity.
This
maybe you're
is
just
Mike
charming.
August winning free Cajun food.
I knew there was some
I'm
sort
being
of
honest.
explanation.
Yeah, Mike is from Louisiana.
yeah, Mike's from my part of the woods. Me and Mike
Oh,
went to school
yeah.
together.
You did?
Really?
Yeah, that's why I call him cousin.
Mike went to school?
Yeah, well,
Hold on. Mike's actually a lawyer.
I
if I'm not
know, it's
mistaken.
crazy. What?
He's your cousin.
If you were a lawyer,
he's my
how
cousin.
pissed would you be if you knew that Mike was a lawyer? Like if you were a lawyer, you know what I mean? Wouldn't that just immediately just? It'd be like if you went, yeah, I was a playmate, and then some fat chick pulled up and went, yeah, I was a playmate too, and you were like, what? Oh, no, you completely lowered my
Do you
stock.
think he's diluting the brand?
Nobody who's a lawyer wants a guy with no socks standing next to him saying, I'm a lawyer too. I just choose not to do what you do full time.
Right, you're chained to your desk writing briefs, and he's out here in his plaid shants
Yeah.
trying to stop beef from ruining your set.
Yeah, that's my point. I just don't mention that around other lawyers, Mike. I think it's going to
They'll be
hurt their
angry.
steam. Yeah, they need confidence when they're in the courtroom, not that. Sorry, Steven.
So you knew
guys
him
went,
when?
he's your cousin, huh?
he's my cousin, man. Where we come from, it's all about family and tradition. And guys, what I'm trying to do here is take my Cajun culture to the other states and show them what we are all about.
What are you about?
Well, yeah, what are you about?
It's about the food we eat, the water we drink, and the Cajun dancing. What we call this back home, it's fais do. And what I mean by that is when mom and daddy on the weekends wanted to have a little fais do, what that means is they would breastfeed the baby, put him to
Right.
sleep, and then they could do their little Cajun two-step. And that's what we call
My
fais do.
mom would make a horrible Cajun.
Can you imagine? The nursing alone, I couldn't get a straight answer on.
Hey, we're going to get the Zydeco thing going?
How should I know?
I don't know.
Wait a second, because I think your mom would do a
Jambalaya
nice
is
job.
very spicy.
I think she would review it.
I feel bad for the shrimp floating in it.
It had to die.
How would I know
Wouldn't
that?
everything be okay?
Yeah, she'd be a horrible
Yes.
Cajun.
She's
So-
not enthusiastic.
The not much life in her. But so Stephen, I feel like maybe you tell me blessing or curse. The whole Katrina thing has sort of been, in a weird way, brought a spotlight to New Orleans and that whole sort of vibe. And I don't know, maybe it's Harry Connick Jr. I don't know what it is, but I feel like, or it's the Saints winning the Super Bowl.
I'm telling you guys,
I feel
just
like
everything coming together,
the last
man.
5 years feel like this long travel brochure. Not a lot of tragedy mixed in there, but it seems like all of a sudden they're on the map. Like
Yeah.
I'm seeing them in the news and hearing all
Sure,
this stuff.
there's a whole show, Treme,
Oh, yeah.
about
yeah.
New Orleans
Right.
musical culture.
That's
you
got to
know-
be good for you, right?
Well, you know, it's funny, though. When people go to New Orleans, they say they have the best time. You got to get in a car and drive 2.5 hours west, and you go to the Atchafalaya Basin to see what Cajun country is all about.
So don't go to the
and
French
get
Quarter.
raped.
no.
And get raped.
Yes.
If you go a couple hours outside,
You'll go through the Atchafalaya Basin, you'll see where we really come from, guys.
Let me tell you what I love about New Orleans and that part of the world. Said it once, say it again. You drive through L.A., I'm a guy, I'm a white guy, I pay my taxes, I got registration, I got proof of insurance, the car's all paid for, everything's up to snuff. LAPD pulls up next to me on the freeway, I turn the fucking radio down, I put my hands at 10 and 2, and if he's going 52 miles an hour, I'll slow it down to 52, just not to be a nose ahead of the guy. When I was driving through New Orleans with Jimmy Kimmel, we were doing a man show thing, we were taking a little tour. We were like a tour bus, like a mini bus, and the guy was kind of driving the wheels off the thing. And at a certain point, we're going down the highway, and I spotted the cop. And I said, "Ho, cop, cop," because the speed limit was 35, and he was going 47. You know? I said, "We're coming up on a cop." I said, "We got a cop up here." And the guy went, "Dad, don't worry about it." And I said, "Wait, don't worry about it. We're going to blow right past the guy." And he said, "He's got bigger fish to fry than me." And we blew right past the guy, and I thought, wow. What a place to live in where you're not worried about the cops fucking with you constantly. And I was like, "But what? Aren't you going to get a ticket?" And he's like, this guy's, they're interested in crime. They don't want to write me a ticket. He blew right past the cop.
But isn't that a crying shame, though, with this oil spill now, guys? Come on. I mean, we've gotten hit pretty good with Katrina. But, you know, the Super Bowl was a blessing in the sky. That was a blessing in the sky for us.
In the sky or in
the sky,
disguise?
not in disguise. In the sky.
In the sky.
Yeah.
Oh, it's that kind of blessing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good. Now, what's going on with the oil spill?
You know, some guys, I'm kind of just so disgusted with that.
Is it affecting?
It's affected me with my seafood.
Industry?
Yes,
It is, right?
It's affected me with the shrimp and all that. As far as for the crawfish, we have our private ponds that are inland.
Oh, you do?
Oh yeah. So what would happen though if a hurricane would come and push all the water in, then we'd probably have a problem. But so far, from what I can tell, I think it's going to be all right with the crawfish.
What about nutria? Has anyone figured out a plan for those nutria?
Well, you know, they cook them. I have
They
a big
try.
old poster on my wall at the restaurant where people are cooking that stuff. So
Well, now the nutria is like a giant rat,
yes,
right?
yes.
And
No.
it's one of these things where it's sort of your nutria is like our ostrich. Like somebody's trying to get us to eat ostrich or emu or something, and we ain't into it. And they're like, it's less calories than beef and more flavorful than lamb and all this kind of stuff. And we're like, fais, which sounds Cajun, but it's
not,
Juju.
yeah.
But the nutria, these things, somebody got these things, was it Tabasco company? Someone brought these things out there. They brought them in cages. They're going to make like coats out of them. They got knocked over. They ran around. They started multiplying like crazy. And then they're everywhere, and they don't know what to do with them. And they try to figure out recipes for them, but I don't know if it really works or not. You ever try it? You ever try to cook up the nutria?
Nope. I cook alligator at the restaurant. I do frog legs.
Oh, you do alligator?
Oh yeah.
Now, how does that work? Where do you get your alligator meat?
St. Martinville, Louisiana.
Really? And
yes,
it
sir.
gets flown in every
Oh, I
other
get
day?
it all shipped in from Lafayette. I have a guy that ships it on the airline, and I get it at the airport within 5-6 hours.
And you make
Really?
a sandwich or a stew?
You know, you could do like alligator coubillon. I usually just cook the alligator, deep fry it, or I grill it, whatever. But
You can make like a
deep fry.
po' boy out of it.
Oh yeah, you can actually make a po' boy too.
And
Matter
what?
of fact, I got a shrimp po' boy right there for you, Adam.
You want it?
What's in that?
That's just a fried shrimp po' boy. All it is fried shrimp that's dressed.
And no alligator? Any alligator on
No,
the truck?
I didn't bring no alligator.
Any fresh alligator?
I didn't know if you'd like it or not, so I said, let me bring what I serve with
You should have an alligator tank at the restaurant. People can pick out their alligator.
Well,
like
he's on
lobster.
a truck, you know?
Yeah,
And
but at the restaurant, I'm just saying. Put the
by
tank
the
in.
way, his truck is going to be at your restaurant.
Oh, it
I
is
think.
going to be.
Yes.
Oh, it's going to be. It's going to be part.
Sweeney.
Yeah, that's right.
At
I
a
thought that-
Malfi.
It's
I'm
gonna be
trying to
parked out
talk
front
to
of a Malfi,
actually,
yeah.
I'm asking you, and I asked Sweeney. I'd love to be able to bring all the food trucks in front of your restaurant that were on the show, and we open up the place and let them eat their food all right there from all the food trucks that we had on the show.
Sounds good to me, but you got to ask Sweeney because then who's going to go in and eat his food?
Well, that's-
they'll buy his booze.
It's a conflict of, oh yeah, maybe you draw people in for the alligator po' boy and then they come in for a few cocktails.
Guys, I went to the X Games 2 weeks ago and brought the truck inside the Coliseum. 4 o'clock. I was sold out by 7:30. When 8 o'clock, when the show was over with, I could have served another 300 people and I had no food.
Are people? Have you noticed your business go up like
Crazy.
tenfold? I mean,
Crazy.
did it start with the whole Katrina stuff, and does it just keep going with the Super Bowl? Like, do people just have a general awareness of this now?
Let me tell you guys, I never opened up for Super Bowl. And you know, I was kind of mad because I couldn't believe the NFL let this guy, Vic, in there for $5 million for killing animals. And I told myself, I'm going on strike until the Super Bowl is Super Bowl Sunday. And
Oh,
I
you
told
mean Michael Vick for the dog fighting?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so I told myself, Adam, I said, you know something, I'm not going to watch the Super Bowl. I mean, I'm not going to watch any of the NFL games, playoffs until Super Bowl Sunday when the Saints and the Indianapolis Colts are going to be in the Super Bowl. And I predicted they'd be undefeated, and I was wrong on that. But I knew that the Saints would win. And I opened up on Super Bowl Sunday, and I never opened up on Super Bowl Sunday. And I opened the doors, guys. I'm telling y'all, I had over 200 people in my restaurant. It was crazy.
And but by the way, you kill alligators
just
for a living.
thinking.
Why do you care about Michael
Yeah,
Vick?
you like
I
dogs.
love animals.
What? Hey. I don't kill alligators. I get it. I get the
fry 'em
alligator
up.
meat. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't judge.
Yeah.
Thank
all right.
you. Thank
yeah.
you.
And
So
what do they do? Have alligator farms?
Oh, yeah.
They just raise them like
Oh, yeah.
cattle?
Oh, yeah. As you can see, Lisa right there is the girl that plays the fiddle for me, and I brought her here for a little treat for y'all.
Oh, she's gonna play the.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, this is gonna be an unplanned, excellent treat for us.
Tell you, I planned a good treat. And I brought Jazzy over there. Jazzy was on my show with me. She was great. She's a star on the show.
Yeah, she's beautiful.
Is our food trucks a fad or are they here to stay?
You know, I would just tell y'all this. Being on the show and me owning a restaurant, guys, if one of those food trucks pulled in front of my restaurant, Oh, I'd be out there. Get out of here.
Yeah, swinging an alligator at him. Now, I'd be pissed too. Like when we did have the food truck guys on here, and I was like, if I was spending the kind of coin these guys are spending on their property and the lease of property and the signage and all that, the employees and the whole insurance and everything, and some guy just pulled right in front of my store with this thing, I'd be pretty pissed about it too. But I mean, the good news is there's not a lot of Cajun trucks out there, are there?
I've never seen another.
No, I
Never
got the
heard of
one
one.
and only, guys.
Yeah.
And I got the best Cajun food in LA. I mean, I've been voted best Cajun since I've opened up my restaurant. We're talking 18 years in the South.
Really?
Yes, sirree.
So you can go to Amalfi lunchtime Monday and every Monday thereafter and try the Ragin Cajun's food.
Yeah.
Ragin Cajun on wheels.
And the Malfi stuff ain't bad either.
Time out. As a matter of fact, USC football team, well, the Coliseum is going to let us put all the food trucks in the Coliseum. So when USC plays down there.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Wow. All the 8 people that go out to see them when they're on
So they'll be on
probation for another 2
I was
years.
going to say, yeah, 'cause you have to pay off to get in.
Well, Stephen, thank you very much. We have to make room for a big porn star who's going to come in
Have
here.
you heard of Peter North? Is he a cousin?
No, I don't know anything about that. No.
You know anything about porn?
No, I don't.
No.
You've never heard of
that's
Peter
your
North?
thing? That's your bang?
No, it's not my bad.
What about
I wish you weren't a liar.
Jeremy, what's his name?
Ron Jeremy?
Ron Jeremy.
I've heard of him.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
he's
you're
an old-timer
offended.
there.
Offended, Mr. North. All right, Stephen, again, the show's on the Food Network, the Great Food Truck Race. I don't know when it premieres. Do you know?
My premiere starts Sunday. We're having a big premiere at my restaurant. You guys here are all invited. It starts at 7 p.m. at Ragin Cajun on Hermosa Beach.
Is it Domingue?
Domingue. You said it right, Adam. You're the first one I think that said my last name
I
right
wrote
out
it
here.
phonetically, Stephen.
I appreciate that.
Thanks for coming out, and thanks for bringing the chow.
All right, Al.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, I hope you won the show. I've got a good feeling.
Yeah, he seems confident.
He does, doesn't he?
Good to meet you,
Come down to see me, man.
Brimming with
shall.
confidence.
Yeah.
Y'all come Monday. Y'all come Sunday night. Got time?
It is pretty amazing what's going on with the sort of New Orleans Renaissance. Like I don't feel like anyone's really talking much about that place until, well, I guess Katrina's about 5 years old now, right? And it just
Oh, no, thank you. I'm good.
we're doing a show, so I'm cool now. I can eat later.
He's so sweet. You know how feeders are.
I know. I'm annoyed today. I don't know why I'm annoyed. I'm like pre-annoyed. Yeah, I don't know why. I've just decided I was pre-annoyed.
There's a lot going on.
I have a lot of stuff going on with my book and trying to get pictures and everything. I just feel like I made this proclamation of I don't want 2 guests a show. It's a pain in the ass. I have to bring them in, bring them out. Then they come in and they don't know where they're going, and they're not sure where to go.
Fiddle player and
yeah. We gotta get some order.
It's a lot of chaos, and this isn't the day for chaos, right? Can't handle it today.
It's day for tranquility.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm having an extra critical day. I stole my mom's biorhythm wheel from 1973.
Well, speaking of wheel, I'm thinking maybe my dad can live on his food truck.
Yeah. Now I got to hear the Hey, get him out of here and get Peter North in here, would you please? I'm sorry, I'm pre-irritated. He's a nice guy, but I'm doing a fucking show. It's just feels like everyone's standing around chanting, hey, what do you want? What do you need? We got some. Good to see you, Peter North. Have a seat.
Hey, I'm good to see you.
Change the mood. Change the mood.
Yeah, it's looking up from here on out.
Yes, it's been a very long time.
I think the parking for the man show we did the.
Oh yeah, we did. Yeah,
we did a bit?
We did the. We did a porn, like a summer camp, like a
university trying to make the college grade.
Right. Yeah, it was a funny bit. I can't remember. I remember we filmed it up in the hills around Griffith Park, and I had to get out of there like right at 9:30 and get the hell to Loveline. So Peter North, Peter star of small-ish screen with a biggish dick. You've made how many adult films?
The number just bounces around. It's, I'm not sure, but I'm hearing 1,700 or something like that. Yeah, anywhere from 1,500, 1,700. I'm not even sure. I lost count.
And how does it go for you? Like, where do you come from? How do you get into the business? How do you get started? What did you think you were going to be doing when you got here? Are you from here?
I never.
You want some Cajun food?
Tried some. It's good.
Yeah, it is good.
I never contemplated ever getting into business.
I mean, you're not in
I didn't even
high
watch
school
it.
thinking you're going to get into porn, right?
No.
But were you aware then that you were extra endowed?
No. I grew up in the east coast of Canada. I guess a lot of the guys are endowed there because the girls never really said anything in particular to me. No, I never knew I had anything extra or special until I got to California. So I remember when I was.
Well, there's an exchange rate with Canada.
Yeah.
I see.
Well, when I was 17, I think back, when the people talk about the claim to fame, the pop shot, basically.
Sure. That's the money shot.
The money shot.
The decorator. Yeah.
Now, doesn't everyone do that?
Yeah, but not to the extent that Peter does.
What makes yours special? Like a Jackson Pollock type?
What?
It's the difference between
the volume.
You know when you go to the Costco and they have that little sampler thing,
Yeah.
comes in a little paper cup.
Yeah.
And then you go to like 7-Eleven, you get the Super Slurpee.
Yeah.
It's a sort of difference in size
Good
and
analogy.
volume. Like if
Okay.
you spilled one in your car, you'd be like, all right, I spilled a little sample cup in my car, no big
I
deal.
see.
But if you spilled this big gulp in there, you'd have to throw the car away.
And
Good
that's how
analogy.
you got some of your other nicknames, which I see per IMDb: the Sperminator, Sir Camelot, the beer can,
Beer can.
You shake up a beer can.
I like
the
that.
Senator,
Okay, I'll take that.
and Old Faithful.
Yeah, the decorator's how
Because
I
you
know.
were around pre-Viagra.
Oh yeah.
So you're in Canada. You're a young man. You're athletic, I'm assuming.
Into sports quite a bit.
Into
yeah.
sports. And so what brings you out to LA?
I had a relationship that ended, like a 3-year relationship ended, and I always wanted to.
Because she drowned?
She choked to death. No.
Imagine Peter North at 17, like super horny, young, just like to fuck 5 times a day, Peter North, and that poor girl.
Well, I remember the times when when even before I had sex, when I was being masturbated, like at 17, this one girl, it was like I could remember about 16 or 17 ropes hitting the brick wall and knocking chips off the wall. It just it was crazy. So I mean,
that's why I wanted to stay away from the Cajun food truck.
Now it's all making sense.
Health services.
But you had no
coming in
idea back then that anything was unusual.
I did not know until I did my first movie up on Mulholland Drive. There were 3 girls and 2 guys. I was one of the guys. The other guy had an issue performing.
Right.
So I kind of had to carry the scene, as they say. And basically, when Old Faithful popped on the 3 girls, it was like the director was on the phone talking to the agent, talking to other directors and such.
Sure. Because that's a big deal in that business. And now they have there's this whole industry where they try to sort of simulate it, but they go way over the top with it, and it always looks phony.
Why is that extra sexy? If there's more.
I'm not sure if
It's
the
a
word
big finish. It's like
It's just more dramatic.
yeah, like a girl having an orgasm and just screaming and just, or squirting actually, to say the least. Like, I think it's Cytherea.
It's a crescendo. That's why they hit the cymbals together at the end, and they fire the cannon.
Right.
That's Peter's cannons being fired.
I don't know why I'm asking this, but why do some people make more than others? I mean, I know if it's your third of the day, there's going to be less, but why is Peter North gifted with so much volume?
How come some people can roll their tongue and turn it into a taco? How come some people's earlobes are attached and others aren't attached and they roll up a 1/4 inch? How does all that work? How come some people can mimic other voices and other people can't do it at all? It's fucking touched by the hand of God.
Yeah. Do you feel that way?
It's genetics for sure. I mean, I've taken stuff that actually have helped as you get older and stuff like that, and some of the stuff actually works.
You mean herbal?
Yeah, some of the. You take vitamin E. I think Dr. Drew on the Love Line mentioned one time.
He's trying to help the kids come on their girlfriends.
Taking vitamin E is a definite, and keeping hydrated.
That's important.
Yeah, you just do the math. Yeah, you don't want a big talcum to come flying out of there.
Yeah, if you're dehydrated, and some of the biggest pop shots I've had were on photo shoots for magazines. 'Cause that's like an all-day thing. Like you're taking a few shots, you know, for one position. He has to set up in another area and stuff like that. So you're kind of like masturbating all day. And so the longer you masturbate, the more of a buildup you're going to get.
It's funny when people do masturbate, and when they talk about masturbate, you get the hand movement.
You got to get the hand movement.
Yeah.
Right. Girls never make any kind of hand movement when they're
No,
discussing it.
but it's also you don't really draw out other things. Like you don't go like, well, I was driving my car.
Right.
I'm sawing away the wheel. We know what you mean. You drive your car. When you say I was beating off, I don't go, what are you talking about? And then your hand starts moving. You go, oh yeah. Oh, now I got you. That kind of masturbate.
It almost always accompanies the gesture.
It's weird. It's nothing.
It's so true.
Really, other things aren't equivalent. It's like, I had a day in court, or Your Honor, and you walk around.
It's not like I was sailing.
Yeah, you don't do that. Or you don't say, you're like, oh, I took a flight in from Phoenix, and then you pretend to sit sharing your arms.
You get your knees cramped up.
Yeah, and your arms go out like an airplane. No, but somehow jacking off, your hand will go, yeah, it's
Constantly
jacking
playing
off.
charades when you're doing that.
Yeah.
So you started in hetero porn,
Yeah.
and that was your mainstay.
Yeah.
And then did you dally into gay porn?
Well, I know that a lot of people have talked about it, and I'm gonna like set the record straight because I was on the Love Line and some caller came in and he kind of caught me, blindsided me, and I'm not like quick like Adam. I thought someone was gonna field the call or something like that, but he was talking about some, you know, like some gay movies and stuff like that, and you know, there was some limited stuff that a lot of people have done, and I should have just said, like, this gentleman Mike is just complimenting me in a, you know, unusual way, but trying to make it seem like I'm gay or bisexual. And I want to go on record in saying that, and this is nothing against bisexual or anybody that's gay. I am not gay or bisexual. I'm totally straight, heterosexual.
But if you do a movie, like, okay, so there's this sort of argument you can make where, like, well, if you make a movie where Sean Penn played Harvey Milk, well, Sean Penn's probably the straightest dude on the planet. He uses a shotgun for a paddle in 8 inches of water in Louisiana. I mean, he's the manliest man you ever met.
Yeah.
But he plays a gay man, and while the cameras are rolling. But, okay, but we can do that math. But then if you're in a gay porn, well, then you're actually physically having relationship with the guy. So you may be in the act, in a gay act, but you're saying you're not gay.
Exactly.
And as a straight, so if you're a straight porn actor, especially someone like yourself or John Holmes, I guess at some point did a little gay stuff, or even Ron Jeremy, who I don't know if he has or hasn't, but I guess you can get extra money because you're a name. I mean, does it become what they want in the porn industry is they sort of want you to do stuff you don't do. So if you're just a chick and you're like, I only do girl scenes, eventually someone's going to give you a lot of money to suck a dick.
Right.
Because that's what they want you to do.
Or do some anal.
Or do some anal.
And then DP.
And then DP. And then eat some Cajun and call it a day. So if you're a straight porn actor and you have a name that people recognize, I imagine people are coming at you all the time going and upping the ante for the gay stuff.
Yeah, they have after, you know, like it was at the beginning actually when I was in a situation where I owed some money and I had to take care of some debt, and
really?
I wasn't a citizen because I was here illegally.
Right.
Right.
It was a legal
so it was the
alien.
beginning part of the career.
So it was a beginning part,
Right.
and I should have corrected on that.
So that first
so
porn was a gay porn.
I had to do, yeah.
Hey, get it out of your system. Smart.
And then, you know, they had the straight magazines off to the side, so you had to masturbate to get, again,
Right.
you had to masturbate to get an edge, and you'd lose the edge real quick, and then you'd get it, but they would be patient. And even now, like, they look for guys in the Midwest, straight guys.
That's what gay men want to see.
That's what they want to see. Yeah.
Now you were in some debt and you couldn't work legally. Mm-hmm. You had limited options. And a huge wang.
Yeah.
And you can't.
And the pop shot was
that's the big
again
thing.
was the big
That's
thing.
the thing.
Nothing wrong with the wang.
I haven't seen it. I'm just guessing because the ones
fine.
I've seen in porn are all huge.
I have another plan for your dad now, T.
Yeah.
Wait a second.
Here's
Is there a
some-
call for like a 67-year-old dude?
in gay porn.
He'd have to go gay.
Oh yeah, there's no way anyone's watching.
How about, does anyone want to see an old Jew?
So Peter, you come out here at 17 to do what? Not do a gay porn and send a MoneyGram back to Quebec, right?
Don't ask how I earned this.
Yeah.
Please.
No, I came out because I always wanted to come to California and see what was out there. I knew there was something else out there.
Were you thinking about acting? Were you thinking about sports? Like, what were you thinking about?
I just living and see what was out here for me. I wasn't even thinking about sports, or the thing I wanted to get into was journalism. You know, especially sports journalism. And I never really pursued that, and I wish I had, but you know, I didn't end up in a bad place. You know,
you say you wish you had. What do you? Why do you say that?
Because it's something that you could always maybe try to go to at a certain point in your life.
It's hard to fall back on your cock.
Well, you think you're gonna age out of this industry, right? Or does
guys?
one?
Well,
guys can hang out. I mean, you think about all those chicks you worked with in the '80s, or nobody's going to pay them to take their clothes off anymore.
Did you know Linda Lovelace?
I did not.
She was a little
before my time.
She was
a little
before your time.
Yeah. She's a little more the Christy Canyon era. And by the way, those women were spectacular. Like before all the crazy spitting and tattooing and all the evil putting on the eyebrows with the
streaky hair,
Sharpie and everything. Yeah, it's just good, hot, natural looking chicks back then.
I agree.
Did you have a favorite co-star?
There were Ginger Lynn, Christy Canyon.
Yeah, delight.
Candy Evans. I don't know if people remember her. She ended up marrying one of the original American Gladiators.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
The one that was an a-hole, but
she likes testosterone, that one.
Yeah.
And there's a lot. Like, you're just like, I don't know.
Barbara Dare.
Oh, Barbara Dare is great looking. Yeah. I mean, they're just like a natural good looking. It was weird. You know, everyone thinks that was a '70s thing, and it kind of was, but it spilled into the '80s.
I agree.
Too. Yeah. At some point, though, around the early '90s, mid '90s, started getting sort of nasty, and now it's gotten sort of like this weird, angry edge, which is
who can outdo the other company as far as over the top.
Right.
Stuff, yeah.
It used to just be, hey, let's watch good looking people fuck.
Right.
Call it a night.
Yeah.
Like, why is everyone screaming at each other?
And then all of a sudden there was
spitting at each other.
The spitting thing, I don't get. The gangbang thing.
Well, it's a degrading thing. It's like they're trying to degrade the women where it used to be, and that's why the scenarios are different. You used to just show up. I liked it, by the way, when they would age you and put a little talcum powder in your hair. That was always funny. Like
I had some great.
Yeah, it'd be like a 29-year-old Peter North, except for somebody put some weird flour in his hair. I guess they didn't have a big budget for special effects.
I remember that one.
But sometimes I think about talking to porn stars about movies I've seen them in and go, wow, man, that was a sexy scene. But then I realized you probably don't remember.
So many people have come up to me and asked me about this scene or this movie and that movie. Just particular ones that would stand out.
I just watched Peter in a movie last week, The Ozone, because it was the one that was written by mutual friends of ours, Adam, Rick and Paul.
Really?
Yeah.
They wrote The Ozone?
Yes.
What is the plot of The Ozone?
What is the plot?
The plot is anyone who has an orgasm within this scientific laboratory travels through time.
Really?
Yes.
Sounds like Rick's work.
Yeah.
Now, do you remember that one?
No, I don't.
See, that's the beauty of it. And so you now you're 17. You're out here, and
it was a little later than
a little later.
Had a little debt.
Had a little debt.
How did you accrue?
I was actually out here like in I think my 20s.
20s. Yeah. And when did the
early 20s
the porn career just begin? Then that's when it began.
Yeah.
And was there a moment like where you realize you're sort of stepping through a threshold where the door's going to shut behind you, like my parents might find out, or my football coach from Canada may find out about this? Like, this is the 80s, right? So it's like stuff's on tape, stuff's coming up on cassettes, so stuff's getting spread around, but there's no internet.
Exactly.
And minus the internet, you're thinking, mom's never going to grab one of these tapes.
Not even thinking of the ramifications.
Really?
And I talked to a lot of girls.
Another movie Rick and Paul wrote, by the way. Ramifications. Yeah. You're not thinking about it, right?
Nah, didn't even, you get on that train and you take that journey and you get off at one point, or you stay on the train and just,
And now, obviously, your folks know, your friends, I mean, they know.
Yeah, my mother and my sister weren't too happy about it.
Your dad? Dad was okay with it?
Dad you know, he was the first one to know about it, and he didn't say too much about it. You know, he just kind of like, you know, didn't. My mother found out through a different a newspaper, you know, second page of the newspaper. You know, I was putting out a book called Penetrating Insights, and it wasn't. Simon Schuster actually reached out to me, and us. And my ghostwriter. And
when you say us, you mean you and your cock? Don't reach out to Peter North, or you might get hit.
Yeah.
Something.
They were interested in publishing it, but it was more of a beach read. It wasn't like, you know, juicy stuff about the industry. So
well, what is some juicy stuff about the industry from someone who's been around for as long as you've been around? I mean, you must have seen the drugs, the coke, the AIDS. I mean,
to be honest, Adam, I didn't see a lot of. I just kind of like in my own little world down in Orange County. And I go from the valley, drive back down to Orange County, or come up to the valley. But I noticed that, you know, like certain people like Tracy Lord saying, you know, that she, you know, was under the influence of drugs and stuff like that. She was having sex off camera.
Really?
You know, with in another room.
During shoots.
Yeah, when another shoot was being actually filmed, this one was not. You know. And
did you? So that sort of innocent, drugged up, victimized stuff, you're not buying.
No.
So have you ever showed up to the set and seen someone and went, I don't want to work with that person? Like, I'm not attracted to that person, or they smell like garlic, or they backed over my dog.
Been a couple times, yeah.
Really? Mm-hmm. How'd that go? What do? You don't get the money?
You kind of pull the director off to the side, and yeah, you don't. Either someone, you know, has to go type of thing, and usually it's the woman's world.
Yeah.
Right.
You know.
Well, I hear a lot of guys, like I've heard someone say that when a guy wants to break into straight porn, he has to bring a chick with him.
That's
true?
That's the key that opens the door. That's why I tell everybody.
And what kind of, just for fun, what kind of money were they paying guys back in the day, like back in the early 80s, mid 80s?
Just compilation scenes, like just, they weren't like threaded to anything. It's just basic scene. It was like $250. I remember getting, you know,
per scene.
Yeah, for like maybe not even an hour of work.
Was that the gay porn or the straight?
Oh, the straight.
And
the gay porn was more.
Oh, a lot more, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, see, that's why I go. That's why I go gay. So now, but really, the only way to make money is to own the website, be the sort of entrepreneur. I'm not the cock for hire, as it were, right?
Have your own distribution, your own production,
right?
You know,
yeah,
your own website.
We should toss out your website, by the way, peternorth.com. Cousin Sandy, by the way, gave me a little entry access code, and I popped on there the other day. And not only have the new stuff, but they have the vintage stuff too. So if you like to take a little whack down memory lane, I like the vintage stuff myself.
A lot of people requested that as well.
Do you have a favorite? I know you don't remember a lot of your films.
Please say Taboo 2. Please say Taboo. Well, he wasn't in Taboo 2.
There was one where I was Neutron Man, so the superhero. So
yeah, see, to me, the idea, I mean, obviously it's a little different for a guy because, you know, for women there's all the stigma and the guys become these heroes. But the idea for a, 21, 22-year-old guy from Canada, you're going to get paid to have sex with a 18-year-old Christy Canyon, and I know her real name because she's from North Hollywood, and I asked her on a date when I was 19 and she was 17 and she didn't want to go. But her sister asked me to do the Sadie Hawkins dance at Walter Reed Elementary. I don't want to say her sister's name, but she was about 2 years older than she was. And she was hot. I mean, she was like, it wasn't like, she's hot for a porn star or anything. She was a hot 19-year-old chick.
She have a rack on her?
The sister?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Sister did not, and her sister was good looking, but she didn't look anything like. I don't want to use her real name, Missy, but
I can't imagine a Missy would go into porn.
Yeah, like what are the chances?
Usually it's a Ruth.
Crazy long last name, yeah, Gilda. But I mean, that had to be pretty good. Like, I mean, you're just a horny 20-something-year-old dude too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, did you just go? Was it kind of? Tell me this. All right, here's what I want to know. I do stand-up comedy, and people go, oh, man, that's awesome. You're up there, and people are laughing, you're telling jokes, and it's cool, and they're plotting, and you always go, it's work, you're working. You realize people are looking at you and that kind of stuff. when you're having sex, you're 25 and you're having sex with some hot 22-year-old chick. Is it work, or are you just going, fuck it, I'm into this?
Yeah, it's you have to have a good time. You know.
You do?
Yeah.
I wish someone had told me that somewhere in junior high.
If you don't have a good time, the scene's not going to happen. You know. Basically.
So you're having a good time.
Yeah.
Did you form relationships within the porn community?
I went out with one girl. I tried to keep that away from that, because if that bottoms out or falls apart, then that person won't work with you, or you're blackball type of thing. And so,
yeah, you want to be blackball, and they
blue ball then blackball.
So it was just one time.
There was one person that I had dated from the industry. Yeah.
And then what about dating outside of the industry? Because somebody told me once, and maybe when we were getting together, the Man Show shoot or something, we were talking about Peter North, and then someone said, oh, he tries to live all that down, and he keeps a low profile, he's not out there. Like Ron Jeremy's always out there and he's advertising, hey, this is what I do, and I want to be in movies and blah, blah, blah. But somebody said that Peter North sort of keeps it on the DQ. But, or wait a minute.
DL?
DL, yeah, once disqualified, it's a boxing thing. But was that true? Were you like leading a double life?
At the beginning I was. It
you
was
were.
like, girls, I was dating different girls, really nice girls and stuff like that. And that's not the first thing I'm going to tell them.
Right.
And I like to get them to know me as me, and then but this one girl that I was going out with, people kept coming up to me, and I knew they were recognizing me, and I'm like trying to avoid the situation. And
sure.
And and she's like saying afterwards, she goes, you're a really popular guy. A lot of people know you.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, if only you knew. I mean, I had my mother and my sister in town at Universal Studios before they knew, and I saw these two guys from I don't know where, and I knew they recognized. That look.
Yeah. Or there's a grease fire in the kitchen, and they want you to come on it. Fire extinguisher won't do. The bucket of sand's gone. Peter Norris at table 8. Your son's a hero. What are you talking about, man? But yeah, that look, you see that guy that goes, hey, for me it's Hey Man Show, but I can tell it's that guy.
So I gave them the look of don't even come close. Don't
right.
Even,
right.
And so I avoided that situation at the time.
So you were with your mom and your sister at the time.
Yeah. And that was kind of interesting, because the Marilyn Monroe lookalike, she kind of was smiling at me.
On Hollywood Boulevard?
Oh, no, at Universal, yeah.
Plus, it had to be confusing, too, trying to keep those two lives separate, because then you'd go home and you'd be with your girlfriend or someone you're dating, and you'd be intimate, and you'd be done having sex, it'd be like $300. And they'd be like, what? Come on.
Oops.
Cash. Come on. What is this? This is such bullshit. I just came on you. Now, come on, $300.
Also, in people's regular sex lives, they don't do a lot of decorating. You know what I mean? It's mostly interior decorating.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It is, yeah.
Yeah. So how did that go over?
And sometimes I've done it outside, and just kind of it was almost entrenched in me.
The habit.
Sure.
So with no warning, you just decorated like a civilian?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. A number of times.
Yeah, and wildlife. No, I mean, what
he hit the food truck outside.
you see boxers after they've been knocked out throwing a punch on the ground. It's just that's where their brain's at.
It's an
instinct.
What I mean?
It's like an instinct. So you do enough of that move instinctually, then you're going to bring that into your bedroom.
What was the response?
Sometimes it was okay, but other times it was oh, what a mess. It's it's in my eye. It's let me go to the bathroom and rinse out my eye and stuff like that. So
yeah, that's
it's
what do you think the reaction is? Thank you, have another.
It would just be very strange if, without discussing it beforehand,
mm-hmm.
if someone were to say, hey, I've seen a lot of porn, this looks kind of fun, would you mind?
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing. Mm-hmm. But if without warning,
well, it's getting kind of cathartic to you.
What if you were?
It's not happened to me.
What if you were hot and heavy, and the guy says, I want to come on your face, or I want to come on your boobs, or whatever.
Right.
Would that stop your momentum? Would that?
No, at least I'd be made aware ahead of time. I think I need some kind of warning.
Yeah, you want to be able to get the wax paper out and cover your boobs.
Let me get
Peter North gets there.
The 3D glasses on.
Yeah.
I
now
just
you must.
wanted to-
I'd imagine, with the reputation you had then, were some of the actresses sort of going, "Hey, listen."
I just had my hair done.
Yeah, like let's just keep it on the tits, or like I don't want to duck, or like was there a discussion? Because I got to know what they're coming up against.
Good point. The main thing that was said was, keep it out of my eyes.
Yeah.
Try not to hit me in the eyes. And I tell them, after I tried to avoid it and they get it in the eyes, I said, once the gun goes off, we have no, control or aim.
It's a blunderbuss. It's just not. It's not a finely rifled, sniper's rifle. It's a shotgun at best.
Exactly.
It's going to be collateral damage to your iris.
That was a good question I asked. Thank you. And it's one, by the way, Charlie Rose, if you're listening, is one he missed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You really plumbed the depths of this.
Thanks.
I don't even. What's wrong with getting it in your eye?
Well, you get the pink eye.
Oh,
it happens on occasion.
But
by the way, getting anything in getting one of your own eyelashes in your eye sucks. So imagine a big batch of Peter North. You know what I mean? I mean, everything in your eye, but air blows, and then even air sucks eventually. It's like how shitty your eyes are. One of your own eyelashes falls in your eye, and you're like, hold on, I'll pull over. I can't fucking see. That's attached to your eye, and it can't get in your eye.
May I ask, Peter, this might be delicate, but you said on a couple of occasions you showed up on set, and there was a woman, and you had to pull the director aside and say, I can't be doing her today. Mm-hmm. Why?
Just various reasons. I mean, it might not even be right away. It may be like hygiene, like Adam was mentioning earlier. Like,
sure. Rue McClanahan was not at her best.
But you think you're showing up,
hygiene.
What's happening.
Yeah, but you got to also think that half these people are high.
If I think someone's on drugs or something like that, or messed up, and I'm not down with that.
But hygiene, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
High or hygiene?
High and hygiene.
Yeah.
And
high.
And then what's the director do? How's that discussion work?
Sometimes they get on the phone. The PA gets on the phone and gets someone else to come in, or they replace me.
If you're sent home from a porn because of your hygiene,
I
feel like that's a moment where you just kind of have to think, things are going very poorly for me.
Are there understudies in porn?
Yeah, that's Peter North wouldn't fuck you.
Wow.
I mean, that's basically 1,600 other chicks have made the cut, but not you. You and your smelly vagina need to hit the bricks. That's when it's time to take a good. That's what they call gut check time.
Yes.
That's
go home and get your fucking shine box.
Right.
Yeah, that's good
And
long
some baby
look
wipes.
Good long look in the porn mirror. Hey, T, do you have some more news, by the way?
I do.
I'll tell you what.
And now, the rest of the news with Teresa Strasser.
I should point out to people that they can go to my PC and they can try it out for free. That's right, 45 days. They get a free trial offer, and all they got to do is use my name in the promo code box. Visit gotomypc.com. Again, it's like leaving. I'm going out of town this coming weekend, but not really, because I'm a member of GoToMyPC. I signed up, and thus I can get to my work computer. I can get to my home computer. You can get to your work computer, your home computer. Peter, you could be on the set of your porn, realize, hey, there's something that I'm missing from my home computer. Jump right on anyone else's computer, access it, and same with work. I know a lot of your business is going through the computer these days. Mm-hmm. You can go to mypc.com, 45-day free trial. Try it free, and just use the promo code Adam. Visit gotomypc.com. All right, T. Now the rest of the news.
Well, earlier we were talking to the Ragin Cajun, was that his name?
Mm-hmm.
Runs a food truck. Now, he loves dogs so much that he wouldn't watch football while Michael Vick was playing, but he hates alligators enough to
he just eats
cook them and eat them.
Mm-hmm.
How about a guy who eats cat? Cops in Buffalo found a live cat marinating in oil and peppers in the back of his owner's truck.
A live cat?
Marinating.
Can you marinate when you're alive?
It's a good question.
Well,
we should ask the Cajun.
I'm sure some chicks have stewed in Peter's juices while they were still alive.
Your nickname, the Marinator.
The Marinator.
There.
Yeah. The Marinator.
Police had pulled over 51-year-old.
Watch out around Thanksgiving time. Marinator's coming for you.
Gary Korkuch for running a stop sign when they heard incessant meowing coming from his trunk.
Definitely not a Jew.
They found the 4-year-old cat, Navarro, with his fur covered in oil, crushed red peppers, and chili peppers.
Wow.
First, he explained that he did it because Navarro is ill-tempered. Then he told cops he was going to eat the cat. Then he said a bunch of other things that didn't make sense, including that the male cat neutered was pregnant.
All right, so he's just nuts, right?
Or times are tough.
Well, where do you guys feel like it's just such a weird thing? Like there's people that won't eat chicken and they won't eat beef, but they will eat tuna. And to me, a tuna is a more majestic creature than a chicken or even a cow. And then there's people that sort of say, well, I'll eat buffalo, but I wouldn't eat a dog, but I wouldn't eat a dog or a cat, but they would eat a squirrel.
It's really arbitrary,
like, what
isn't
the
it?
fuck? And depending on whatever culture you're from, that's what culture. I mean, we make fun of, Indians don't eat cows, and maybe Filipinos or Vietnamese or whatever might eat dog, and that's a big deal, but what's the big deal? It's just another animal. That's not like, I have a dog. I have a dog therapist and a dog dentist. How can you eat the dog? It's like they just run around and shit themselves, the same as every other animal. What's the big difference between a dog and a cow?
It's just a cultural taboo that we don't eat cats because we have them as pets. And as you've pointed out, in other countries, they would think it's insane how we treat, say, our dogs.
Right. Oh my God. My nanny's from Guatemala, and she just sits there. My dog Molly just sits at the table with her big old drooling mug on my thigh, and then I sit there and take my fork off the plate, stick it into Molly's mouth. She eats a chunk of fat, and then I put the fork back in my mouth. And sometimes I'll just catch her looking at me like, "What the fuck is wrong with you, gringo?" And I'm like, "What?" And she's like, "Ugh. That dog shouldn't be inside, and not when you're eating. It shouldn't be, and it's on your bed, and it's like it's on the table, and you're feeding it with your hands.
It's like a child.
Like your kids are here.
It's an animal.
Yeah, and it's like that dog should be outside. And she's a nice lady, but culturally, you don't have a dog sitting on you when you're serving food.
It's interesting because Cesar Millan is from Mexico, and he observed a lot of dogs on the farm where he grew up, and he was shocked to come here and find that the dog was the master here.
Yes.
And not the human.
Right.
And that's why he's good with dogs.
The two things that confuse people from other countries is dogs being masters and chicks being mastered too. Like they just come in and like, wow, that dog is, whoos, he pussy whipped. Wow, what the fuck happened to this country? The dogs are who's paying for all this? The guy pays for the kibble, and the guy pays for the tennis bracelet. Is the guy's getting the shit kicked out of him all day? What the fuck?
And by the way, the kids are the parents a lot of the
kids are the parents.
Yeah.
The wife's the boss. The kids are the parents, and the dog's essentially the queen mascot, and the guy just becomes a fucking mule to bring money back to the home so he can get his ass kicked.
I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
We're so evolved. It's just an awesome arrangement we've made for ourselves, fellas. It's awesome.
Peter North, do you watch American Idol?
No.
No.
I've actually watched some of the...
So you think you can dance?
No. American Idol prelims or
the early auditions.
The auditions, yeah.
People are split on
because that's kind of funny stuff.
People watch that part of the show and not watch the second part. I never watched that part. I only watched the last 2 nights to see. I want to see the Super Bowl. I don't want to watch the preseason. But everyone's like, there's a lot of funny shit that happens in the preseason. But go ahead. And by the way, I don't want to get in more trouble with the Filipinos. Do they eat? What do they eat? They eat anything that's on that. I'll limit it to only the Vietnamese.
That could potentially be like one of those negative cultural stereotypes, but really they don't eat cat and dog. I'm sort of guessing that they don't, particularly not here in America.
What culture in their indigenous culture
eats dog or cat?
Or just dog, for instance? So Vietnamese, Laotian, something like that?
I think it's Koreans.
Koreans? All right.
I don't know if
Somebody
that's a
check it out.
myth
That was
or
Mike
if that's
Dawson
real.
who said that?
It was
Letters
not
go to
me.
Mike Dawson.
Yes, those are the
Carola
opinions
Dawson.
I'm not
of
saying-
Mike Dawson.
I
I'm
just
saying
don't
that
want to
they're
get
the-
threatened by any more Filipinos.
Yeah.
By the way, the Filipino that you pay to work on this show says that no, they don't have any weird diet stuff.
What? I hired a Filipino?
There you go. See, there's no weird diet stuff. Am I right? You eat some noodles, you eat some chicken, whatever. It's the usual.
All right. I just don't want to eat any crow.
Oh,
ahead.
yeah. Well, Jennifer Lopez was going to be a judge on American Idol. That was the story. A source tells People magazine that the actress pop star is out of the running to join the judges panel. According to the Insider, J-Lo had been in the final stages of negotiating a deal, but it suddenly fell apart. Apparently, her demands got out of hand. According to the source, Fox had enough.
That's shocking. And listen, Ellen did a shitty job and got fired. That's my take on the whole thing. Why does Ellen get a perpetual pass on everything? Why does everyone just sort of, no one talks shit about her, no one ever goes, she was lousy on that show, and then she did a year, and she wasn't very good at it, and they got rid of her. Isn't that what happened?
She kept her comments very concise. It's hard to be too angry at her.
And she didn't want to criticize anyone. I mean, she's a comedian.
Yeah, it was a strange casting choice because music isn't her business, even though she does dance.
Well, here's the whole thing. If music isn't your business, then you go there and you be the funny one. Right?
Yeah.
And she didn't do that.
She had a joke or two.
Yeah, I know, but you would have had many more jokes, I'm guessing.
Well, that leaves a spot for you, my friend. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't you be great on that show?
I would be excellent on that show. I am such a excellent judger. I never stop judging.
Judging is what you're all about.
That's all I do is
combining
judge.
Judging and talking?
I judge people who say you can't judge and think they're assholes.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, Perez Hilton has been lobbying for the job, and I actually think he'd be good because he's discovered a lot of musical talents.
Well, here's the reality is, I do feel like almost anyone can be good. Randy Jackson is a total and utter knob. I mean, he's a nice guy and everything, but I mean, here's what's in his arsenal. Hey, dog, wasn't feeling dogs, a little pitchy dog. Hey, dog, that was a pitchy dog. Hey, I want to marinate you, dog, and put you in my trunk, dog. And that's all he's got, dog. I mean, it's like any guy who says dog 15 times is like a guy who says at the end of the day 5 times in the same sentence. You don't have anything. So Randy Jackson has nothing in the fucking speak tank, and he's fine on that show. And Paula Abdul.
She was entertaining.
She's like had a methadone patch wrapped around her neck like half the time. I mean, she was out of it completely. And then, as I always said, this is why Simon seemed so bright, because he had 2 fucking Christmas tree bulbs next to his 60-watt bulb. But there's so many people that'd be great. Like Kathy Griffin would be great on a show like that.
She would be amazing.
Ellen sucked on that show. I mean, I'm not saying she didn't suck for a civilian. Like if Peter put his mom on the show, I wouldn't be judging her the same way I would judge Ellen. But for someone who's supposed to be a very accomplished comedian and very funny and do a very popular daytime talk show, she needed to bring it. She didn't really bring it.
I think the problem is she was quite careful because she has that daytime audience to protect, whereas somebody like Paula Abdul was completely unpredictable due to her proclivity to perhaps medicate some old back injuries. I don't know. I'm just saying you didn't know what was going to happen.
Well, she was at least nuts, and that's
that
what
made it
that
fun.
way.
You
Yeah,
need
and
somebody
she didn't
nuts.
Need to protect her audience because they were on the QVC buying fucking plastic jewelry
and Kathy
from Korea.
Griffin can go off on whoever she wants, as she's been doing forever.
Yeah.
Oh, she would be good. Bill O'Reilly is taking on Jennifer Aniston. Earlier this week.
I'd like to see Peter North take on Jennifer Aniston.
Is she your type?
I would pay to watch that.
Oh, yeah.
Well, did you even have a type? Ever you fuck through the type thing? Like you?
I like brunettes a lot, you know?
Yeah, okay.
You know, into that brunette thing with the large naturals.
Sure. Oh, Christy Canyon fan.
Yeah.
Boobies!
Exactly.
How do you feel about the big fake ones?
Depends on if it's a good job. I mean, you know, I've seen some pretty horrendous boob jobs in my time, and
I bet. Yeah.
And you know, if they're the bolt-ons, like so hard that, I mean, you can't even get close to her when you're hugging her or kissing her. It's a problem. But if they go to the right doctor, and there are some good doctors out there, and they get it done right. I mean, they just want to do it so quick. I don't think they research it and do the due diligence and check into it enough.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like a toupee. If you can tell from across the street that the guy's wearing a toupee, it's a bad toupee. And if you can tell from across the street, some boob jobs have been so bad that Peter refused to come on them.
Really?
Yeah. He said,
that's a bad one.
He took his balls and he swung them over his shoulder and he said, "Good day." Good day to you. Thank you.
Earlier this week on
day, sir.
The O'Reilly Factor, the Fox News host ranted against comments Jen made at a press junket for her new movie, The Switch. Explain, Jen, women are realizing it more and more, knowing that they don't have to settle with a man just to have that child. Times have changed, and that is also what is amazing, is that we do have so many options these days.
Oh, it's getting cathartic.
As opposed to our parents' days, when you can't have children because you have waited too long. I hate Angelina Jolie. No, she didn't say it. That comment irked O'Reilly, saying she's throwing a message out to 12-year-olds and 13-year-olds that, hey, you don't need a guy, you don't need a dad. That is destructive to our society. She's glamorizing single parenthood.
I watched a trailer for Salt when we went and saw Salt in Arizona last week, and I saw the trailer. This probably showed like 5 trailers, and you realize there's only 8 people who make movies, and they must make 15 fucking movies a day. Like, I don't know how it works anymore. There's
how can Paul Rudd be in 9 places at the same time?
It's absolutely insane. Like, you're literally, and it's not the Salt trailer, but it was all the trailers for all the movies that came before it. And it's just the weirdest thing in the world. You realize there's a super small group, especially comedies. There's like 8 male actors, and then that's it. And they're doing voiceover on an animated one, where they're doing a live action one over here, and they're doing a romantic comedy over there, and they just seem to just keep coming out. I mean, Jennifer Aniston, I feel like, is she ever taken a year off? Like, I feel like there's like 3 movies come out a year, and some of them are okay, but most of them are forgettable, and her earlier roles were better, and you can say, well, she wants, she's getting a nice payday. When she was a member of the show Friends, I think at one point everyone's getting like $1 million an episode or something insane. Yeah. And that shit just went on for, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 seasons. I mean, just the money she fucking banked from doing Friends. And, she's married to Brad Pitt, so it's not like she married some fucking ne'er-do-well bartender, wrung her out like a bar rag and took her for everything she had. She doesn't seem to be, strung out on coke or play the ponies or anything. So if you're Jennifer Aniston and you have $300 million in the bank, and then somebody says, hey, I'll give you $12 million to make a piece of shit where you play your ex-husband's a bounty hunter and he's chasing you around a track and stuff, like, don't you go, hey, fuck that, man. I've done some good films.
Right.
10 years ago, but I've done some good films.
That one with Jake Gyllenhaal and where I dressed down.
Yeah.
That one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did a few of them. And you know what? I got 300 million reasons in the bank why I don't really need to go out and shoot that thing in Florida.
Why did she do that Gerard Butler thing?
I think it's 2 things. I think it's a ego meets money meets relevance. Like, I think she feels like if 4 months go by without her face on a billboard, she's going to go away. And people are paranoid, and it does happen in this town very quickly, and it's so weird when you try to think of these people because you can't think of them, because that's the whole point. You can't even summon up the name of these people that were like fucking household names. Like, I mean, when I used to be on MTV, I'd see like, hey, Lou Bega would come in here. He's got Mambo number 5 or whatever. And he'd come in and it was like, hey, I'd see these guys at the top of their shit. Like, he'd come in and, I'd always ask him like, well, so what's next? Oh man, the world, movies, another record. That was fucking in 1998. Where's Lou Bega now? Probably hoping that Peter does a film with him.
You've actually increased my understanding of Jennifer Aniston now, because why should she sit home and risk becoming irrelevant when she can do some crappy movie that at least some people will enjoy? It's probably not going to completely tank like The Bounty Hunter. I mean, usually people they do okay, right? Or people would stop paying.
It's it's this whole thing where even the ones that don't do well end up doing well when you get to foreign markets and ancillary shit. And in either way, you don't realize, like, again, all you got to do is travel out of our little shitty, snobby inner circle here in the blue state and get outside, and you'll see people, X Games, that was a bounty hunter, that was a good game, that was a good movie.
Can't wait for the Switch. Yeah, date night.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
And also meeting up with, doing something with a main leading guy, like Gerard Butler comes on the scene.
To work with Gerard Butler.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm just saying, though, at a certain point, when you have no kids, no drug habit, believe me, whatever house she bought in 99 is worth 10 times as much as it was when she paid for it in Malibu back in the day. Come on, you got $300 million in the bank and a bunch of endorsement deals? Like, fuck it. Pick your scripts a little bit. Now, this next one may be fine. Like, I don't know the problem. I'm just basing this on 7 of her last 11 choices.
Do you think when she reads the script, it seems better on paper?
I think part of the problem is you have an agent, and 10% of $14 million is a nice little payday, and you don't give a fuck about what's good and what's bad and all that artistic bullshit. As a matter of fact, the last thing you want is her going out and doing some indie where she works for 3 weeks and gets paid scale, and 10% of scale is shit. So I think it's their people, and their people will go, oh no, it's good. I read the script. Yeah, and you don't realize, like, they'll go like, Gerard Butler's a big fan and he's a big star and the ladies love him. You're perfect for this. You're perfect for this, and I read the script and
you're
they really
funny,
want
and some
you.
people don't realize.
They don't know how funny you can be when you're running from a guy who's chasing you on a racetrack.
And you do that physical comedy so well.
Oh, there's that scene where you pop out of the trunk. It's going to be awesome. Yeah, meanwhile, they're just getting 10% all that shit.
Exactly. Well, I'll leave you with this last story since Peter North is here. You may have the opportunity to see the Bachelorette, Allie, her breastises.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Now that she's gained a little fame, folks from her past are trying to profit from it. Radar Online reports that an ex-boyfriend is attempting to sell photos of a topless Allie on her knees, hands covering her breasts, while beer is being poured on her breasts by someone off camera.
What a shocker.
And by the way, that's not raise an eyebrow for Peter North. So she's covering herself up, right?
She's covering her breasts with her hands, but somebody is pouring beer on them, according to this report.
Yeah, but who gives a shit, right?
That's nothing.
But here's the whole thing. You just did a reality show where you ran around in a bikini and took turns jumping into hot tubs with dudes and making out with them, and that was on primetime ABC, right? I mean, and then you'd go off to the guy's hut, and then we'd see the shade be drawn on the window, and like we're assuming you're making out with all these. Like, we're on to you. A little nip slip is nothing for you, right?
Exactly. In addition, Star Magazine got hold of pages from her diary, which allegedly reveal the shocking news that she likes to party, once used the drug ecstasy, and they've posted, Star Magazine, a photo of her taking a hit from a bong. So
what? I know I'm the guy who's always banging the drum about this and leading the charge on this, but got hold of her diary. This thing that it's it's a really weird thing. And all right, I'll be quick, but I got to preach for just a second. We were really worried after 9/11 when everyone started talking about, well, we're going to need to see 2 forms of ID, and they're going to start. We should put some cameras up, and so we can see people and film people on the sidewalks at night and see if there's anyone planting a dirty bomb in a trash can and stuff. And we as Americans are very sort of protective over our civil liberties and our anonymity and our it's why people buy shredders, and we don't want our identity stolen, and we don't want people using our likeness, and we have a very, put the limo tint on the car window so people don't look at you, and blah, blah, blah. And we have we're kind of weird about that, and we're kind of protective about it, and I don't know how they are in other countries, but, when the cops start putting up the cameras at the intersections, like, people get freaked out by that, like, hey, you can't do that. But this one part we seem to have let slide by completely. The part where somebody's stolen your diary or your porn tape or your honeymoon tape, or we have pictures from an old boyfriend. Every fucking old boyfriend is going to have some pictures or some love letters or something embarrassing because people are drunk and you get the video camera out and they're toasting your 21st birthday and you're pretending to go down on a banana or something. I mean, it's all, the reason I know it's all out there is because it pops up every time the chick wins Miss America or Miss Universe or Miss Rare. It's like some guy, boom, hey, I got an old tape, boom, I got an old picture, boom, I got a fucking diary. When is somebody going to fucking pipe up and go, this is where we're losing it? The cameras in the streets, that's on the sidewalk. That's to try to stop terrorism and to prevent street crime. Like, at least there's a reason for that. Yes, they're going to see you picking your nose, but they're really going to focus on terrorists. And, you know, when we're talking about, oh, the new screeners at the airports are very revealing. How much can they see? Well, they're trying to stop the plane you're getting on from blowing up. So that much I understand. Let the guy see my botched circumcision. I mean, Mike's botched circumcision. Let them see that in the name of safety for air flight. But this part is really starting to fucking just spin out. Like, what happened? I mean, an old boyfriend, someone got hold of their diary and they're selling it to Radar, and it never seems to be any consequences. It's just like, I found it, got these pictures, an old boyfriend, old whatever, and sold them. Is that really where we're heading? And why doesn't somebody pipe up? The reason people don't pipe up is because it's celebrities. And whenever it's a celebrity or someone who's notable or someone's on TV, they go, well, you shouldn't have signed up. Yeah, you signed up for it. That's what you signed up to be. But really? That's not what they signed up for. They signed up to be a comedian or an actor or to make movies or reality shows, but they didn't sign up to have ex-boyfriends or somebody steal diary and show pictures. And by the way, can we stop being so blown away by it? She did a drug once. He smoked marijuana. She simulated oral on a bomb pop. Like, didn't we all get buzzed? Didn't we all fuck around? God knows if someone had had a camera, we'd all... Oh, fucking Peter, forget about you. We've had 2 million hours of you fucking. But the point is...
preaching to the decorator.
I know. The point is, of course, everyone's tried pot or cocaine or got high or did whatever. Can we just stop going, oh, you mean the blonde bimbo from The Bachelor is going to go on a reality show to meet her next husband? She did drugs? She tried ecstasy? Stop the fucking presses. Jesus Christ, she's not running for Senate. She's a fucking bitch on reality TV.
And by the way, ex-boyfriend, how about you get some dignity and work for a living instead of selling photos of your ex-girlfriend's tits?
And somebody should fucking just call these guys out and get pictures of them and then post them on some fucking website called antidouchebag.com and start fucking ratting these guys out because they're so fucking... It's horrible, right? And what happened to fucking dignity? Remember the day, Peter, like when a man would use his cock to shoot his load on a... Oh, fuck. All right, anyways, a horrible example.
Anyway.
Yeah.
That was the news.
The news with Teresa Strasser. Eat a dick, MSNBC.
All right. I want to give a final shout out to our good friends over at Stitcher. You can check out the Adam Carolla Show and hear exclusive extra content that we do right after the show on Stitcher, exclusively on Stitcher. It's an app. Stitcher.com is where you go. Throw it right on your iPhone, your BlackBerry, Android, and Palm. No more downloading or syncing. It's just the Adam Carolla Show there waiting for you, ready every morning in real time. So, what the hell? Stitcher.com, everybody. I want to thank the Ragin Cajun for coming in here. Stephen, what the hell?
Domingue.
Yeah, couldn't pronounce it. And you can check him out at www.RaginCajunOnWheels.com. You can also check out our buddy Peter North at PeterNorth.com. Good, especially if you like the vintage stuff as well. I'd shake your hand, Peter, but I'm scared I'd never be able to pry it off it. So, until next time, this is Adam Carolla for Mike Lynch, Peter North, and Teresa Strasser saying, mahalo.
And now, your Adam Carolla Extra.
Hey, kiddies, Ace Man here with your Stitcher Extra content. Talked earlier in the podcast, touched on it briefly, the bouncy castle. Yeah, man. Where the hell were our bouncy castles? You know what I had? I had a stick with a horse's head on it. Probably filled with horse hair. And then you'd put it between your legs and you'd ride around on it. If I gave that to my kid, he'd shove it up my ass. You imagine saying to your kid, hey, here's a broomstick, and it's got this horse head on it that's about the size of a throw pillow, and then you put it between your legs, and you run around like you're on a horse. Like, hey, Dad, how about you put your thumb in your ass and spin around? Fuck you. They beat the shit out of you with the stick. You know what they do? They'd probably, if you gave your average, 8-year-old that horsey stick, I don't even know what that was called. Was it a hobby horse? Or is that something else? But either way, that stick, that stick with the horse head on it, it's probably a 50s, 60s thing, but I still remember having one. You hand it to your average 8-year-old, he takes it, he clutches it in the middle. He does a very quick move where he puts the horse's head under his right armpit and pops it off, and then twirls it around like a ninja master, grabs both ends of it, jumps over it once, jumps over it backwards without ever releasing it from his right or left hand, then spins it around, goes into a quick kata, and then you feel the cold sting of it on the right side of your neck. As you're blacking out and going down to the ground, you're feeling its dry sting go up your ass. I don't even think most 8-year-olds would give you the dignity of spitting on the end before they shoved it up your ass. You're getting a dry hobby horse raping with that thing. Could you imagine? They go what do you do with this thing? Well, you put it between your legs and you prance about the yard. Giddy up, stick, with a stuffed miniature head on it. This is awesome. Yeah. Probably second only to that hoop that guys in knickers would spin with a slightly smaller stick. Probably worst gift ever. And if you think about those guys spinning the sticks with the stick and the hoop, they run down the street. Unclear if a guy ever actually did that or there's just drawings of guys doing that. So I've never actually seen a photograph of a kid doing that. I think Norman Rockwell dreamt that one up and it just stuck. I've only seen pencil and charcoal drawings of that. But if you want to think first off, on a cobblestone road, that is a horrible gig. And this is before vulcanized rubber. These guys aren't wearing Air Jordans or Air Huaraches or Pumas. They're wearing dress shoes, leather-soled dress shoes with black heels in them, running down the street with their stick and their hoop. I'd like to get the stick and hoop guys together with the hobby horse stick and stuffed head guys to figure out who really got the toy shaft. That's an argument I'd like to have. Who got the fucking shiv in the toy department? Well, either way, my kid's probably home screwing his avatar right now.
That was your Adam Carolla Extra.